Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of That's Bonkers, Bruh, where we talk about the strange and unusual, the interesting, and anything downright bonkers. I'm your host, Mitch.
And I'm Kelsey.
And here we are again.
We're back, bitches.
With another episode of That's Bonkers, Bruh.
Yep, episode 21.
Is it 21?
I believe so.
Sounds about right.
I think it is. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be doing majority of the talking today, so you'll just have to listen to me. But it's a haunted, spooky theme this time.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a spooky theme since October. So.
Oh, really? Has it been that long?
It has been that long because I really lean heavy on the paranormal. And so I try to not just only do that. So I was going back looking at our episode topics to make sure I'm not doing too much paranormal. And we haven't had one since October. So
okay,
we're fine.
Fair. Oh, yeah. We're in the clear. That's
we're
like
good.
6 months almost.
Yeah.
We're coming up on, what's it called? April Fool's Day.
We sure are. All right.
We should prank the kids.
We should.
Like, what should we do?
I don't know. I'll have to think about it. They're little pranksters, though.
They are.
So they deserve
like turds.
Yeah, if anybody has any good pranks playing your kids, nothing mean. I don't want to be mean.
Yeah, they're 8 and 12. We're not trying to shatter their confidence in
Well, I don't want to
parents,
traumatize them. I have seen like people do videos online where they do like really mean pranks.
That's rough.
And the kids will just like spiral out of control and be like crying and having a meltdown and stuff.
Yeah, nothing like that.
No, that's sad.
We just want a good, clean, quick scare.
It's just something funny
that we can all laugh at after.
Yeah, we'll workshop it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's figure that out.
Are you ready to hear what I have today, Mitch?
I could not be more ready.
Should we just get right into it?
Let's go.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
So today I'm talking about haunted local places here around Charlotte. And the first one that I'm covering is the Bootlegger house. And apparently you don't remember this.
Nope.
But we walked in front of this house on one of our ghost tours.
Okay.
Do you really not remember it?
I mean, maybe once you get into the story, I'll understand what you're talking about, but I really don't remember anything called the Bootlegger house.
It's a cute, old, historic house down in the city. We stopped in front of it.
Is it one of the ones that's now a restaurant?
No.
Okay, then nope, I have no idea.
I will be talking about that one later, though, but...
Oh, okay.
I don't know why you're so confused. I guess you're just not as into old houses as me.
Well, I enjoy them. They're entertaining, and the ghost tours are fun, but I think when we're on those tours, I really appreciate more of the history of the ghosts rather than random architecture.
Well, this house was built a super long time ago, so it is history. It is historic.
Hit me with it, babe.
All right. Well, you're gonna learn today.
Can't wait.
Okay, so this house used to be located on 227 Caldwell Street in 2nd Ward, where the government center now is. At the time, it was a neighborhood called Little Brooklyn, which was primarily an African-American blue-collar neighborhood. And in the 1920s, the house became a bootlegger house during Prohibition, hence the name. And there's even a secret little door in the foyer where they used to hide all of their booze. And I saw a picture of this, and it's kind of like I don't know if it's called the wainscoting or the bead board or whatever, that they have up on the wall. Mm-hmm. You know how we used to have that in our last house? Mm-hmm. There's just like a little section of it that's like cut out, and you just like put a little table in front of it to hide it, and you just like pull it down. It's just like a trap door.
Nice.
It's like a hidden room. So they use it for storage, the people that live there now. I saw pictures of it.
Okay.
So it's just like this little hidden room in the wall.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in the 1970s, they were tearing down most of Little Brooklyn for all of the government buildings. So they rescued a few of the homes. And a guy named Michael Trent bought the house for $50. And then paid to have it moved to 4th Ward. 4th Ward is like the historic area. The historic, for people who aren't familiar with Charlotte, like
yeah, I don't know. There's just like a downtown district where there's 4 wards or 4 kind of corners in the downtown area. And they've just turned them into more of like the historical monuments or historical, I guess, monuments, the homes and whatnot. And each one kind of has its own niche.
4th Ward is like the historic ward or whatever. So yeah, he paid $50 for this house, paid to move it to 4th Ward, and I don't know how they moved it. I'm not really sure how they worked that out, but they moved it nonetheless. It didn't have bathrooms, though. The bathrooms had to be added on later, like once it was moved.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Interesting.
Okay, so the guy that owns it now is a guy named John. He's owned the house since 1999. And after they signed the papers, the closing papers, the previous owner slid him the key and said, oh, by the way, there's a mischievous spirit that lives in the house. And he wasn't sure what to think about that. He didn't really believe it at first, but he definitely believes in something now. But imagine you're closing on a house and the previous owners are like, oh, BTW, this place is haunted and there's a mischievous spirit that lives here. So have fun with that. I'm not sure how I'd feel.
Yeah, that's unnerving, to say the least.
Yeah. So before we get into all the ghostly encounters, the house is actually up for sale.
Again? I bet it's not for $50.
No, not for, we mean again. There's been the same people living there since 1999.
That's not that long.
1999?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time for one person to live in a house. We've never lived in a house that long.
That's true. Okay. All right. Proceed.
You're saying again as if it's been passed around recently. Okay. Anyway, just listen. It's for sale. It's super cute. As far as I know, it is still for sale. The most recent thing that I could find, I got logged out of my Zillow and I didn't want to deal with it. So I just did a Google search. And the last post I saw about this house was an Instagram post that was made in February. And so I believe it's still for sale. So this house could be yours, people. You could have the Bootlegger house. And I looked at the listing pictures and it is really cute inside.
I bet it is.
It's just a darling old historic house. And there's this cool, creepy fountain in the back. It's really cool.
How much does it go for?
Well, they listed it for $1.1 million.
Just a cool 1.1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the listing or the thing that I saw in February, they did drop the price down to just under $1 million. So
steal of a deal.
It's a little out of my price range.
For like 1,200 square feet.
Something like that. It's under 2,000 square feet. I didn't write it down, but it's pretty small. It's really cute though. I'm not even gonna lie. I totally live there. So anyway, the happenings that have gone on in the Bootlegger house is water will turn on at all hours of the night. So they'll wake up at like 3 a.m. or something and all the faucets will be on and they'll have to get up and turn them off. One time they saw these unexplained wet footprints going down the stairs, like somebody had just taken a shower and then walked down the stairs, these wet footprints. And John asked his wife, did you just shower? She's like, no, they couldn't figure out why they were there. This is fun. One time the bathroom door just locked itself and they were locked out of it. And this is a type of lock where you can't lock it and then close the door to have it lock. You know what I mean? It can only be locked from the inside. Like you would have to be on the inside and lock it.
Yeah.
You can't lock it.
It's like almost like a deadbolt situation.
I guess. You can't lock it and then close it. So that's why it was so freaky. It wasn't like somebody accidentally pushed the button and then it got closed like our kids do.
I was going to say, anyone who has kids knows about accidental locked doors.
Yeah, it can only be locked from the inside and they could not get it unlocked. And so they were on the verge. They said, well, they went to bed because they were like, we don't want to deal with this anymore. We'll deal with it in the morning. But in the morning, we're going to have to either knock down this door or we're going to have to climb in through the back window. So they woke up the next morning and it was just unlocked and the door was open. Can't explain it. They saw a chair balancing on 2 legs.
Okay.
Just came downstairs one day. The chair was just balancing on 2 legs.
Just leaning with it.
Yep. It wasn't balanced on anything. It wasn't touching anything. It was just sitting there on 2 legs.
Okay.
I would imagine that would really freak me out. That's so bizarre.
Yeah, like all these things are bizarre.
So
the
bizarre.
footsteps, I think, would be the most creepy for me.
So gross and creepy. I still kind of want to live there, though.
Psycho.
Huh? What?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. So another time, John saw a man out of the corner of his eye, a big tall man that had a hat on. He kept seeing this man out of the corner of his eye, and then he finally got real freaked out, and he said, who are you? What do you want? And a big pot fell from the pot rack. Fell off the pot rack. But it was like on a hook. You know those pot racks that they hang from the ceiling?
I do know.
Yeah, it fell off of there. Anytime they do renovations or anything, or anytime they move furniture around or anything like that, the activity will spike up. which is pretty common for haunted places from what I understand. But yeah, it's a really cool, creepy house. It has the cool Prohibition history, which I know you're fascinated by.
Yeah, that's fun.
So, and it's for sale, people, so it could be yours.
So I'm going to ask some questions, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but like the hidden door thing, right, that's used as storage now, was this like it wasn't like a speakeasy, right? It was more of just like a hidden closet to stow away some of the liquor?
Yeah, it was small. It was like they use it for storage. It literally just like it comes halfway up the wall because it's like the beadboard or whatever.
Yeah.
And that just opens up and it's like a little door. That's only a couple feet wide, and they would hide the liquor in there.
Okay, so it was like a Harry Potter closet.
Yeah,
basically. Under the stairs type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and isn't it like, what's the history on it? You would know more, like how NASCAR like started here because they were originally like doing moonshine and like racing to like get away from the cops or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Do you want like the backstory? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I don't know like the details well enough to like, that's more your area of expertise.
Yeah. Okay, so just a lot of the things that happened in North Carolina, because that's where we are, but a lot of just areas. NASCAR became prevalent because they were running from the cops, essentially. So bootlegging or bootstrapping sometimes is what it's called. They would hide the liquor in their boots to try to smuggle it into areas like speakeasies or to get it home or whatever else. And so NASCAR became a thing because they would soup up these cars to, again, run from the cops when they had liquor on board during Prohibition. And it became a sport. So they got together and would race each other on these dirt tracks and everything like that to see who had the fastest car. And that's really how NASCAR originated. And one of the first, we have the NASCAR Hall of Fame and everything here in Charlotte. That's kind of a fun thing to go experience. There's a big movie theater that you walk into right at the beginning of the tour of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And it kind of goes through some of that to show you the history of how NASCAR really came about and how, why it is so popular, especially here in like the South, where there was a lot of moonshining happening in the backwoods.
There you have it, folks. You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you'd go off on a tangent, Mitch. I knew I could count on you.
You're welcome.
You and I don't know why you find it so interesting, Prohibition and stuff.
I don't know. It's just an interesting time. Very interesting. Like we went to that, I think we've talked about it before on the podcast. It was in Savannah. There was another Prohibition museum that kind of painted a little bit more of a picture about why it started. And it actually had quite a detrimental effect on the overall income of the United States because they were no longer able to tax liquor in the United States. But there was a massive drinking problem. So they were trying to bring it in check and everything like that. But anyways, you could go on and on about it.
Yeah, I think that's enough. I think that'll do it for us.
Yeah, but that actually is a perfect segue for what I want to talk about.
Oh, bring it.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I love a segue.
Another place here in Charlotte that is incredibly haunted is something called Rira's Irish Pub. Yes,
and when I gave you this topic, I knew you were going to pick this pub. It just had Mitch written all over it.
Yes. And on top of that, the other cool thing about it is it was part of this ghost storm. It was one of the first things that you go actually see.
Yeah.
And I think what I love about it is that although it's we'll call it newish pub that's here in Uptown Charlotte, it said the doors were reopened to the public back in 1997, but the building itself is located in the second oldest building in all of Charlotte. So it's a very, very old building. But what was really, really cool about it is that the owners of the Rira's Irish Pub wanted to make it as authentic as possible. So they actually have artifacts and pieces of old pubs that date as far back as the 1700s. To provide an actual a more historical feel to it. One of the things there's a few things that they said that they have in here. I'll highlight a few. So they said that the fixtures were reclaimed from a fire, including the Victorian bar from this is the early 1800s. They have an old Guinness mirror and a statue of St. Patrick. So it's a bar and grill type of situation. They've got things that I guess you would expect to see in an Irish pub: fish and chips, beef and Guinness stew, corned beef and cabbage. Says that they serve brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Very traditional Irish breakfast and feel. They have sandwiches on the weekends, everything like that. So it sounds like a cool place just if you want to go check out. But as you get into it, some of the things that they have found is one of the occurrences is alphabet letters written on the brick wall above the alcove of the host stand. It says that the staff had repeatedly tried to brush it off, scrub it away, paint over it, but the letters keep appearing. And they believe it's the ghost, or they know that it's a ghost of a little girl with blue eyes, curls, and a Victorian-style dress that has been reported by many seeing her scribble the letters on the wall, practicing her ABCs. And there's even a picture on this specific website. We can probably load it up onto our Instagram so you can take a look at it. It's faint, but clearly ABC is written on the wall, and it's like up towards the ceiling. So it's not just like, someone was just doing it at eye level or anything like that. It says another strange occurrence that has happened is a brick that was found in the manager's office. So one Sunday after midnight, the manager decided to close the pub for the night. She inspected the place, locked the doors, set the alarm before heading home. Sometime in the middle of the night, the pub's alarm system went off, triggering a response from police and the manager. When they showed up, however, all they found was a random brick lying in the middle of the floor. There were no signs of anyone entering or leaving the pub. The security cameras were even checked, and no conclusion could be made. Still, nobody knows where the brick came from and why it was there in the middle of the floor. Now it just sits in the manager's office on the desk.
They didn't get rid of it?
I guess not. No, it was a strange situation. So other strange things that occurred in the pub are instances of beer taps suddenly turning on, bread baskets being knocked off the counter, sounds of sewing machines operating in the basement, perhaps because it was an old textile mill at one point. Sightings of the little girl, a man in uniform with white gloves and a pillbox hat, an old man with a cane and a dog, a man with a handlebar mustache. They basically just go on and on and on, and they've had certified ghost hunters come in, and all of them have very similar experiences when something happens. They see the little girl writing, they see this man with a mustache, they see all these things. Basically, the conclusion of it all is that none of them are malicious. They're all very much just mischievous entities that like to kind of pull pranks and be just little turd ghosts.
That would be scary to work in a place like that where it's haunted. Like, imagine you have to be the person that closes. I would not like that.
Yeah, I can see that, definitely. But I think that we should go see this place.
Let's do it.
It's just in Uptown. It seems really fun. Some of the pictures that are on this specific website look fun. There's this, I don't know what you would call it, facade, I guess, of this old Irish pub that's on the inside that says that it was established in 1880. And so, I don't know, I think it'd be cool to go in and have some beef stew and just experience the ambiance of this Irish pub that is said to be haunted.
I don't know that I love Irish food, but I'll definitely go for the ghosts.
Come on.
Maybe I'll see
beef and potatoes?
Mitch.
You're a Utah gal. That's what you were raised on.
I guess.
I know, that's how I was raised. Beef and potatoes.
It's fine.
That's pretty much as Irish as it gets.
Okay. Let's go, I guess.
Other than cabbage, but ugh.
Maybe I'll see a ghost in the bathroom or something.
There you go.
It's scary. All right. Well, that was interesting. Thanks,
right?
Mitch. I love just old things. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating. And especially to people here in the United States, we don't have a lot of super old things, super old buildings and stuff. So it's just really fascinating when you're like, oh, this house was built in the 1800s. I can't even wrap my mind around that. And then people in Europe were just laughing at us like, you fools.
This was built in 700.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, it's just so interesting. Okay. So the next one, Mitchell, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So I'm talking about the Tryon House apartments. Do you remember this from the ghost tour?
Yes, I do remember the Tryon House.
Okay, Tryon House apartments that are haunted. Okay. So they were built in 1918 and they served as a fashionable yet economical in-town residential location for singles, young married couples, and even small families. The building was expanded upon in 1926 with a second larger addition added to the back, making it stretch an entire block to College Street. But here's the thing. The building used to be known as the Guthrie Apartments, and it was a scene to one of the worst disasters in Charlotte's history, which I'm going to get into in a second. The Tryon House apartment building is one of Uptown's oldest continuously operating apartment buildings. Paranormal activity in the building is believed to stem from a fire that occurred back in the 1940s, engulfing the building to the point that the residents had to jump out the windows to escape. The tragedy took the lives of 9 people and injuring many more. Common reports include sightings of apparitions believed to be former residents, dreams of bleeding walls, and noises of knocking on walls or doors when no one is known to be around. So apparently the flames from the boiler fire grew so hot that they melted 2 gas meters nearby, which then reacted like giant torches, sending flames up the elevator shaft from the basement to the top floor. Inside the charter apartments, it was later discovered the heat was so intense that aluminum cooking pots actually melted, leaving only their handles. According to Ashton Rocket, a former manager of the building from 1992 to 1994, the building may have some residual energy floating around from some of its earlier tenants. He said, when I managed the property, there was still evidence of the fire. There were scorched bricks, scorched beams, and window frames. It was eerie. He says, however, that was the least eerie of the factors about the building. He said that practically everybody that lived there had some kind of ghost story. He said a friend of mine frequently heard what sounded like someone crying and throwing themselves against the wall in an apartment beside him when there was no one living there. Another tenant claimed people were banging on his door at all hours of the night, but there would be no one at the door or no one running down the hall. The scariest story of all that I heard came from a woman who claimed that the walls of her apartment were bleeding. She left the building within a month and had to actually be institutionalized.
Oh my.
Yeah. So the fire at this building is a confirmed part of the Tryon House history, but the rest of the ghost stories, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I was reading on Reddit, of course, as one does, to see if I could... Well, because now it's called... They don't call it the Tryon House Apartments anymore. They've tried to rebrand. And it's now Elevate at Tryon is what it's called now. These apartments. Because they're trying to get away from the ghostly reputation.
Fair.
Sorry about it, but... Here we are just bringing it up again. They can't get away. And evidently it has like a pretty low rent considering where it's at, considering like it's right in Uptown, and they look pretty cute from the pictures I've seen. I guess all the apartments are like very, very different. Each one is kind of unique. They're not all like the same. And overall they had pretty good reviews, but there was one review that I read on Reddit where someone was saying that they didn't have any like personal ghostly experiences, but that the only footprints they could hear were those of the cockroaches on the top floor because the cockroaches were so big.
Wow.
So I don't know what's worse, ghosts or cockroaches.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an old building, but I think the new people are trying really hard to like rebrand. I feel like this episode is like turning into a real estate podcast. Where I'm like... Oh, yeah, it's blah, blah, blah square footage, and you can have this for sale, and it's located here, and pretty good reviews.
Since you can't buy right now because interest rates are too high,
if you can't afford the Bootlegger house, the Tryon House Apartments also is an option if you'd like to live somewhere spooky.
Low rent, Uptown, walkable distance to
definitely
shopping.
Walkable. There's a lot of homeless people walking around in the area. I do remember that, so beware of that. Elevate at Tryon. But that's terrifying. Fires are terrifying. Yeah. And I feel like there was always fires back in the day. Shit was always burning down.
Well, yeah. I remember one thing that, let's see, what was it? I guess it was at the Latta Plantation. There's a plantation here in just outside of Charlotte that I went and did a tour with my mom when she came out. And one of the big things that they had talked about was that obviously they were cooking with a lot of like animal fats and whatnot, which can be very flammable. And so back in the day, the bathrooms and the cooking areas and everything like that were outside of the homes. This plantation being those that had slaves and everything like that. So the slaves would work outside in this outdoor kitchen thing, and it burned down like 4 times on record because of just like the issues with splashing animal fats and whatnot. I'm sure fires that just got out of control because it's not like they were cooking with a convection oven. It was open flame type of thing.
Fires are terrifying. So yeah, I only have one more. It's just a quick, not really a full story, but I was going to touch on the restaurant that you're thinking of is Alexander Michael's.
Oh, okay.
And it is also in 4th Ward. It's close to the Bootlegger house. And we've eaten there before. It's cute. It's in like an old historic building. It's really cute. I want to go there again, but they don't take reservations. And I'm a control freak. And so if I'm going to go out to eat with like a big group of people, I like want a reservation. Like I always want to go there when my parents are here, but I don't want to go with like 4 adults and 2 kids and not have a reservation. Then we got to wait like 2 hours. It stresses me out.
I remember when we did go too, we had a very unique table because
because it's really small inside.
It's super small because it's an old home, and so you had like the hostess stand, and then there was this just high top table for 2,
and it was
right
like,
there in like the entry. Yeah. So we're trying to eat dinner, but there's like 20 people around us because it's winter.
All standing inside.
And they're just like standing there like,
for a table.
Yeah, like looking over your shoulder, wondering when you're going to be done so they can take your table.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you want to fry? Like,
yeah. It was good food, and it was an overall enjoyable experience. And I think we showed up a little early, so we got a table relatively quickly.
Well, we usually do because I like supper.
Yeah, you are a supper gal.
I'm a supper gal. I don't want to eat late. I don't want to stay up late. So, but let me read you a little tidbit about it.
Okay.
Just in case you're planning on moving to the Queen City, you'll know where to rent and where to eat. We're really setting up.
And if you got $1 million, where to buy.
Exactly. All right. Delicious food and beverages to the residents of Charlotte for more than 3 decades, but this building itself has been around much longer than that. It was originally the home of the Crowell Berry Hill store back in 1897. The building not only has a lot of historic value, but it is also home to many of Charlotte's urban legends. It is believed that there is a lonely local who haunts the restaurant. Staff members who stay after business hours to clean up for the night have seen the apparition of an unknown figure sitting at a booth. Some say that is the former owner, Mr. Berryhill, who haunts the restaurant. Over the years, there have been reports of people hearing disembodied voices calling out random names, and some have mentioned feelings as if they have been touched when no one was around. So that's what I have on it.
That's eerie.
Yeah. Just a little lonely. I think they put drinks out for the lonely, whatever it's called. What did I just say?
Apparition?
Yeah, for the ghost at the restaurant. They'll put the lonely local.
Oh.
They put drinks out for it, I thought they said.
Interesting.
Yeah. One thing I remember about this place too is that because it's like such a weird old building, when you walk into the women's bathroom, as soon as you open the door, there is a big pole right there in the middle. Do you remember that?
I remember you telling me about it.
It is so weird. They actually have like a tidbit on it on the back of the menu that like talks about it, and it says like watch out for the pole. Because I think people get tipsy and then they just go in there, or maybe they're just not paying attention, and then they face plant it into the pole. It's the weirdest design. Like, picture opening a door. The door barely has enough room to open because the pole is right there. Like, it's right there. So if you're really hauling ass and you're not expecting it, because why would you? You could totally just run into it.
That's gnarly.
It was just the weirdest bathroom. I just remember being confused. Like, it was just weird.
Yeah.
But I want to go back.
We can do it.
So yeah, that's all I have today is some haunted Charlotte
little
stories.
Ghostly stories.
Yep. There's more too. There's more, but I'm trying to give some variety.
Yeah.
And not always do paranormal.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we could come back to this. Just touching on some of the things from the ghost tours that we've gone on here.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of other options for us to explore.
Sure is. It's not always going to be local, though. I don't want to do local every time.
No, but I'm just saying, like, now that we're talking about it, thinking back to when we did go on that ghost tour, there's several things that I'm like, oh, yeah, there was also this. And, oh, I forgot about this element of it.
Maybe that will be my encore career is I'll just do the ghost tours since I'm well versed.
You could.
Oh my gosh.
Like this quirky girl, she seems like she knows her ghosts.
I'd have to have you come with me though, because I don't want to get like attacked down in the city at night. I'd be nervous.
Yeah.
You'd have to be my entourage.
Okay.
You can add commentary. And then after the tour is over, we could make a plug for our podcast.
We could.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on to something.
We'll just start our own ghost tour company in Uptown Charlotte.
Yep.
Okay. Let's take care of that.
Well, that's it. So, you got anything else?
I got nothing. This is a fun one.
Yep. As usual, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Write a review. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
All the things.
Definitely tell the friends. That's the best way for us to grow.
Yeah, word of mouth. Follow us on Instagram.
Very much appreciate everybody.
All right. Well, stay spooky, folks. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.